Where you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be. And I say this all the time, but here's why I say it. Leveraging where you are right now to get where you want to be is the key. It's finding the gratitude and blessing in every day of what you're doing now that's going to get you to the next level, not hating it. Making it matter. Making the little things matter really does make something bigger. It builds the next chapter. You can't build the next chapter if you're not leveraging where you are right now to where you want to be. They say money can buy happiness. They are wrong. It can't. Money cannot buy happiness. Money can provide a better lifestyle, more comfort, a lot of other things. Here's some perspective. According to some recent articles, I was just looking up for some level of perspective. If you have income somewhere around $600,000 a year, you're in the top 1% in the United States of income earners. If you have about $890,000 of net worth, you're in the top 1% of the world in net worth. From a net worth perspective, if you have about $93,000 to your name, you're in the top 10% in the world. If you wanted to just be in the top 50% worldwide, under $5,000 gets you there. This is pretty powerful information because most of you watching this video are in the top percentages of everything we just said, and you don't even know it. And you certainly don't feel like it. We never feel like it, right? We're always in a position where we're on the top of the world, but it doesn't feel like enough. See, money can't buy happiness, can it? But what can it do? Perpetuating the money myth is all about disproving little tiny things that people, that others try to tell you. So if you only had this much money, you'd be fine. You'd be fine. If you have $93,000, that's all you need. Who are they? How do they define your success? How do you go from having nothing to having something? And how do you define those things? That's really what this is about, because the money portion is one component, but understanding how to build something, how to build net worth, how to not focus so much on income, how to actually build something bigger than yourself takes a couple of key things. It always starts with the first thing, and it's education. You'll hear this everywhere. It's actually something that no matter what political party, no matter what country you live in, everybody agrees more education gets you in a better spot. I'm gonna be a little bold here, and I'm gonna tell you, it's not just going to college. It's not just getting a formal education. I'm not a huge fan of formal education, to be honest with you. I admire it, I appreciate it. I love what it can do for people, but I don't think it's the end all. I don't think that just because you go to the best college in the country or you continue to get your master's and your PhD, that you really know anything until you've actually done something with it. See, the reality is education goes well beyond just getting a piece of paper. Education is about identifying what it is that you're trying to be when you grow up. What is it that you want to be? And how are you going to get there? And how do you educate yourself right now on the things it's going to take you to get there? That may mean that you need a formal education. And I did this. I appreciate it. I'm very grateful for my degree. But here's the reality. You also need to take it way further. Educate means educate yourself on the field that you're interested in. Educate yourself in the space that you love. Educate yourself on the people that are doing what you're doing. Education goes beyond just reading a book. It comes from application. See, it's great to do a study on somewhere in the world like Rome, Italy, right? But if you've never been to Rome, Italy, you don't really know much about Rome, Italy by just reading about it. You're reading someone else's perspective, which is a part of the education, a very important part of the education. But then applying that education to your own life is valuable. It's actually invaluable. It's the best thing you can do. Education is active learning. Fixed learning is key. I love that. Learn from what exists. Learn from what you can read. Learn. Watch videos. Grow. But apply it and watch how quick you learn. Education with application is special. It's also really important to identify what it is that you love and educate yourself in that capacity. Anything I've ever been interested in my life, let's put this in perspective. Anything I've ever been interested in my life, I've learned about. I loved wine. I started a wine festival. I started the wine festival partly because I wanted to learn more about wine. And I wanted to see how the impact of something I was interested in could actually learn and teach me in other ways where we could give back to the community. Combining those things taught me more about wine than I ever learned just sipping on it. Every year I learn more and more, and I still don't know anything. But I've found a lot of people that do, and I know who to call when I need more information on wine. I love to travel. I love to identify things that matter and go there and experience them. But before I experience them, I read it. In the financial world, I've spent years studying and reading and learning, and I continue to develop that growth with people that have done 10 times more than anything I've done in business, in entrepreneurism, in the financial space. All these things are part of my education, but my education never stops. It never ends. Here's the next thing that goes into kind of growing this something into so much more. If you have nothing and you want to build, education is the starting block. It's the starting point. It's exponential, but it's not enough. Getting the application goes into leverage. What do I mean by leverage? Leveraging where you are now to where you want to be is imperative. That means that every day you're doing something now, you're actually leveraging something that you're doing right now into who you want to be when you grow up. You're leveraging some small task you're doing right now that's going to make you better at what you love. It's going to make you better at who you want to be. You have to define who you want to be. There has to be a picture of some sort. That's what I'm doing with my hands, is a picture. What's the picture of what you want to be? And then leverage everything you're doing right now to help you get there. So you've learned about it. You've read about it. You've started to apply it, but now as you're applying it, what are the very things that you can leverage every day to get you to the next level? What are the things that you do every day that will be invaluable to your future? There are things I did when I worked for the Attorney General's office every single day that were small and minute, but running meetings. I ran meetings with really, really important people as a kid, as a 21, 22-year-old kid. I sat in rooms with heads of companies and all these really, really important people. I learned very invaluable skills that I would utilize later in my careers. When I worked for the first financial firm for almost 15 years, I had leadership opportunities to develop and recruit and teach. All those things gave me the skills to leverage and utilize later when I became the CEO of Freedom Street Partners. All those skills and leveraging of those activities and applications of the education I was getting, live, living education and application, I was able to leverage into the next chapter of my career. See, if you look at where you are right now as the wrong spot, you're looking at it the wrong way. Where you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be. And I say this all the time, but here's why I say it. Leveraging where you are right now to get where you want to be is the key. It's finding the gratitude and blessing in every day of what you're doing now that's going to get you to the next level, not hating it, making it matter. Making the little things matter really does make something bigger. It builds the next chapter. You can't build the next chapter if you're not leveraging where you are right now to where you want to be. So we've talked about education. We've talked about leveraging and applying it and where you are now being the right spot. The next ingredient is key. It's a great word. It's called elevate. Elevate means enhance, grow, step up, expand, get to the next level. All right? If you're starting from the bottom and you want to get to the top of whatever that is, maybe for you it's the top 50% and you need to have $4,000 to your name. Maybe for you it's the top 1% of income earners in the United States and you want to be in that $1 million range and really make a difference. I don't know what that is to you, but here's the key component. When you're educated and you're applying it and you're leveraging it, if you don't elevate your thinking, if you don't think bigger, if you don't build something bigger than where you started and realize that where you were, in order to get to the next level, you have to see it, you have to visualize it, you have to think about it. You got to surround yourself with people that elevate your game. Everything is about elevating to the next level. And if you're going to elevate, if I want to go from 4,000 being the top 50% in the world that we talked about earlier, and I want to level up to 93,000, which puts me in the top 10% in the world, Am I hanging out with a bunch of people that actually are elevating my mindset, that are actually already there? Where is it I'm trying to go, and how am I going to get there? Really leveling up. Elevation is all about a higher level. You have to decide what that is for you. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't get to the level and you want to stay in that level. You don't always have to keep leveling up, but the reality is most people do. Most people, if you're applying an elevation mindset, you have a life goal of growth. If you are trying to go from zero to millionaire, if you are trying to go from no money to wealthy, living a wealthy life, living a rich life, not just money, but living richly, you got to continue to educate. You got to continue to leverage where you are now, and you got to constantly be elevating. But once you define where you want to be, it's okay to stay there. But elevating the game helps you get to the next level. It's like climbing a mountain, right? Eventually you get to the top of that mountain. Do you admire it from where you are? Do you look out on the horizon and say, wow, look how far I've come? Do you look at the higher mountain above you, right next to you, that now you say, now I'm going to climb that one? Do you look down and say, oh my gosh, how am I going to get back down to where I was? Because I want to make sure I don't lose who I am, and I want to always be grounded and down to earth. What is that elevation? What does that mountain mean to you? What are you climbing? Who are you climbing it for? Who are you climbing it with? These are all great questions for you to identify how to get to the next level. See, the money myth is that when you focus on the money, you're missing the whole point. Money doesn't chase people except when they're doing all the right things. And if you want to be great at something, educate, leverage, and elevate, and you're going to find success at every single level, no matter what you see on the top of your mountain. If you like these videos, listen to more of them. Tune in, subscribe. Here's the key. A positive message is something everybody needs to hear right now. Always. Share it. Give it to someone in your family. Hopefully we can be of service to you in helping you get what's important to you out into the world.